Define vanilla.
Vanilla. Vanilla sex? What the fuck is that?
Vanilla means plain, regular, not interesting.
Vanilla sex, I immediately thought of grandparents for some reason. I don't know if grandparents have sex still, but it's like, it's not nothing you put on OnlyFans, basically. You don't want to see it.
Definitely bland. Vanilla's the nastiest flavor ever.
Define vanilla.
A flavor?
Vanilla sex.
Vanilla sex? To me, that sounds like sex with a white woman in it.
Lights off. Missionary. No music.
Missionary and then back shots and then that's it. It's over. Yeah, I don't like it.
It's like bland, like not doing anything, like no motion in the ocean.
When sex is predictable, that's when I find it to be a little more vanilla. Doing what you know, but being afraid to explore outside of your scope of experience. I think that's more so what vanilla is.
How would you define vanilla sex?
I wouldn't know, because I don't have vanilla sex.
Just like straight up missionary, like nothing else, you know, like no floor foreplay, just straight up missionary. That's it, 15 minutes, maybe even 5, I don't know, but yeah.
Freaky is like, I'm pissing in your mouth.
More than anything, freaky is an energy. It's a vibe.
Oh, it ain't really no definition because it's levels of that shit. I think everybody freaky, but it's just levels of This is like them floors. What floor are you on with it? You feel me?
Doesn't get into like BDSM and like crazy things and like crazy toys and things like that, but you know, like it is a step above vanilla, a step below kinky, somewhere in the middle.
Just, you know, down with whatever, down to try some nasty shit.
Freaky.
How would you define kinky?
Ooh, willing to like push the limits that you never knew you had. Yeah.
Almost like you got caught doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I got my hand stuck in the cookie jar kind of sex. That's kinky for me.
I feel like kinky is more defined. Like there's like parameters for kinky. There's like a community of kink, you know? Kind of like freaky, but with maybe a set of rules.
Like you're willing to do something a little more different, a little more extreme for the sake of trying it, for the sake of understanding yourself and your partner. I don't know, I feel like there's more sensuality involved in being kinky. Like freaky is like your sexual urges, whereas kinky is like your sensual urges.
Kinky and freaky are different, even though people like kind of like use them interchangeably, they're not. Because kinky is more specific to like a particular kink, you know what I'm saying? Like to like exploring particular kinks, right? Like it could be role playing, it could be whatever your thing is. Feet, anal play, pegging, you know, like any of that stuff, all that stuff is kinky, you know what I mean? Like freaky is more of an energy and kinky is more what you're doing.
Kinky shit is, I heard females licking niggas' assholes and shit.
I ain't that. Okay, so
I recently had some
freaky.
shit happen like that where a female asked me, "Is you with that?" And I'm like, "Well," she's like, "I'm with that kinky shit." So I'm like, "Ooh."
I'm not that freaky.
I'm like, "Baby, I ain't that kinky,
yeah, so
baby."
Coming from Oakland, California.
Stop on these balls.
That shit stopped somewhere. That shit stopped with me. Like, you know, in
Kinky's
that right there.
No, I ain't with all that
Kinky just not in our vocabulary.
No, we ain't grow up like with all that kinky
in the
shit.
Bears.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed.
Welcome.
We are your hosts, Ahmir
Basirah.
And we got a good one for you today, folks. First off, we just had some bomb-ass makeup sex. So we feeling great.
We are feeling
great right now.
Yeah.
We did some adjustments to the set, got the set looking extra sexy for you. So this is about to be a great episode.
I think so.
This is about to be a great episode. So before we get into it today, if you're listening on any podcast platform and if you like what we're doing, getting any value out of this, please pause it right now, and take a second to leave us a review, give us some feedback, let us know what we're doing good, what we can improve on, whatever the case is, so we can continue bringing some great content to you. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. So in today's episode, we're gonna find out if you're vanilla, freaky, or kinky. So before we get into that though, we're gonna open things up with a sex fact for you today.
Today's sex fact is a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that on self-reported tests, people who practice BDSM on a regular basis were less neurotic, more open, more secure in their relationships, and had an overall better sense of well-being than people who only practiced vanilla sex.
That was a very interesting fact right there.
It was a very interesting fact.
I feel a lot of truth to that for myself personally.
Yeah, like what?
I feel like once I've started to venture into real self-exploration when it came to sex, I started in freaky. So I took it down freaky road and then been there, driving on that for a little while, and then ventured to kinky Highway 95. And I feel like, along the way, I've learned so much more about myself. Like I've been able to use sex and kink and freaky behavior as a tool for healing a lot of times, or when I'm stressed, especially during COVID. When we had COVID, that was so therapeutic for us. All the freaky, kinky things that we've done in first getting to know each other, because we met right during COVID.
Right before. Yeah.
So to have that, that was great. That really helped us be able to get through there. So it makes so much sense. And I couldn't imagine if we were having vanilla sex only during COVID.
Whew, that would have been a quarantine experience.
That would have been a corny quarantine experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how would you define vanilla sex?
Vanilla sex. So I liken vanilla sex to vanilla ice cream, of course. With that, it's standard. It's universal. It's safe. It's bland. But it's safe. It's comfortable.
It's tasty.
It's tasty. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves it for the most part. Most people like vanilla.
I like vanilla ice cream.
Most people like vanilla ice cream.
It's actually my favorite.
Yeah. A lot of people really enjoy it. A lot of people. But it's limiting. Yeah. That extra flavor that you want, you can't quite get. And so I think the same thing applies to vanilla sex. It's regular. It's standard. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's good. It's cool. But it is limiting though. It is limiting though. And it's pretty straightforward for me. How about for you?
I would say very similarly. I think that it's very common, very traditional, like your conventional type of sex. You're in missionary or even doggy style. It's just like those, really safe positions, not really going outside of that norm.
Right.
Just being in the same, I don't want to say boring either.
I was going to say, I don't want to say boring.
It's not boring.
It can be though.
It can be boring, especially if you're more of a kinky person, just kind of stuck in this cycle of vanilla sex. But I think vanilla sex is just very safe sex. Very, all sex should be safe, but very safe sex. Very, not really pushing your boundaries, not finding out what your limits are and, seeing if you can go past them. It's just knowing what your limits are and staying within the, parameters of that boundary.
Right.
And it's fulfilling for some.
Right. For many.
Yeah, safety's amazing.
And I think vanilla sex is a mental component to it and a physical component.
Yeah.
So yes, you can do basic vanilla sexual activities, just, regular, missionary, or whatever the case is. But also I think it's a mindset in knowing, okay, I feel safe here. I won't be judged. Of course, everyone has sex like this, so I can just do this and stay in this box. I don't have to necessarily try to spice things up or make things more interesting or explore and grow. That extra effort's not there. You can come every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. with your partner after y'all watch y'all shows. You roll over into bed, get your little missionary on, and then take your ass to sleep. Yeah. It can be easy like that.
It can. And I don't think that, I just want to emphasize, I don't think anything's wrong with vanilla.
Not at all.
It's just not my flavor. And I think that's okay. Like, for people say like, oh, it's just boring missionary. Missionary sex I love missionary. It's one of my favorite positions. And there's nothing wrong with it. It just depends on, like you said, I think it's just that mindset of like, how far are you willing to go, or how far are you willing to explore within yourself and with your partner.
Right.
And I think if you vibe with that vanilla mindset, then you don't really want to push too hard. You just want to feel secure and safe in that. And that's perfectly okay.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't really have too much vanilla sex, not even gonna lie. But in general, vanilla sex can be good. A good round of vanilla sex, just connected sex with you and your partner, there is always a place for that. Always.
Yeah.
So the definition that we found for vanilla sex is a term describing any sort of sexual intercourse classed as plain or conventional by social standards. The term was coined by the kink community to describe sex occurring outside of their community. This suggests an old favorite, such as vanilla ice cream. However, it has come to imply sex that's dull or unadventurous. Intercourse in plenty of different sex positions commonly falls under the vanilla sex category. However, this is such a subjective term that no one can really dictate which positions are included. Definitions of what vanilla and what isn't can also vary. So again, it's not just one definition at all. It means different things for different people. Some people can do things that might be deemed pretty extreme, and others may look at that as vanilla. So yeah. And if you feel that you fall under the category of vanilla and you enjoy that, embrace that. Don't care what other people think about that not being enough. They can't speak for you in your bedroom experiences. So if you vanilla, do you.
Yeah, exactly. And what you just said, it's so important. If no matter what category you fall in, there's no right or wrong, there's no better or worse. It's if that's what vibes with you and your interactions with your partner and y'all are both fulfilled, then it's fucking amazing. It doesn't really matter. But
let's get freaky now.
Okay.
So what is your definition, your personal definition of freaky?
My personal definition of freaky is more of a mindset. It's more of like where you're willing to push, and it kind of like falls still in that blanket of this is okay. Like I won't be judged for this. I'm gonna kind of like make the waves in the water, but I'm not gonna like push it over the edge. And I would just say it's a mindset. It's a willingness to want to explore more, want to explore your bodies more, want to do something a little nasty, a little dirty, a little freaky. And it's still open to acceptance.
Okay. For me, it starts in the physical. So it's a much more intense, purposeful attack, for lack of better words, at sex. Like it's more meaningful. If the energy behind it is like, we're about to take this experience to another level. And so it's the mindset, like you said, but it's the willingness to go there.
Yeah.
It's you allowing yourself to be driven by your horniness. And so that intensity comes from that willingness to be horny. So it's a willingness to be vulnerable. It's a willingness to push yourself.
To be more primal.
Yeah, to be more primal, to explore, to experiment. Yeah, and it still does fall within the realm of things that are more socially acceptable, though some people may definitely think anything freaky wouldn't be. So examples of freaky sex could be having sex in public, or having sex with multiple partners at one time, or just having a lot of rounds of sex in the day with your partner could even be freaky.
Yeah.
Things like that. These are normal things, but everybody's not necessarily about that. Maybe adding some candles, some candle wax, or eating food off of somebody, or doing some basic role play. These are things that are more freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that take things to the next level. Yeah. 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 So that's freaky to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the definition I have: a person who has a vast sexual imagination is sexually open and adventurous to do things that are more extreme but still socially acceptable.
Right.
So yeah, just like kind of willing to push a boundary but not to, go past any like socially unacceptable limit.
Right.
But yeah, I really loved your answer, just like that physical aspect and how it just starts in the physical of just honoring your horniness and just like being in that primal moment of like, I am a sexual being, you are a sexual being, we are doing sexual being things, and it's great, it's nasty, it's fun, it's just a little more exciting than your average vanilla.
Right. Right. Okay.
So what about kinky?
Save the best for last.
That's biased.
For us. I'm only speaking for us. But kinky can be everything that encompasses freaky. It can be, but the biggest difference between freaky and kinky is that kinky doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with sex whatsoever. So And kinky is more structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's structure. There are rules. There are protocols. There are ways of going about this. There are books that you can find of how to go about kinky. There are titles. It's a lot more set up for you to navigate through it in a way that just makes more sense in terms of the longevity of it. And you're a lot more intentional, even more intentional. A lot more conversations need to be had because of all the details that involves being kinky at times. And definitely kinky is all about pushing it to the limits and beyond. And a lot of things that are in the world of kink are completely not socially acceptable. But that's part of the appeal for me is what taboo things can I do that I know I would probably be judged by someone for. Just the knowing that this is wrong, but it feels so right. It does something. It does something deep down in me, and it taps in this beautiful dark place that I used to not allow myself to be able to explore. The signs were there growing up. Actually, the signs were there growing up in terms of things that made me feel like that. So to now be able to put a label on it and say, oh, okay, this is kinky. And then now to go and explore that space, it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I've learned so much more about myself. I've grown in so many areas. My confidence, my ability to communicate, my just level of enjoyment, adding kink to our sexual experiences, but then being able to be disciplined enough to just do some kinky things that have nothing to do with sex. Also, I like that mix as well. So I like the versatility of it. And I like pushing those fucking boundaries, knocking down those walls, and not giving a flying fuck what people think. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. It's hard to come up after. I would define kinky as, I really enjoyed what you said about like it having a structure. It's like freaky, but with structure and shit ton of communication.
Right.
Because with kink, I think there's so many, I would define kinky as the ability to recognize your desires and create a space where you can enjoy and experience those desires without limit, and without judgment. Kinky is also something that's usually defined as something more taboo or scandalous, more devious behavior. Dark.
Yeah.
Intense.
Yeah, extreme.
Yes. Very vulnerable.
Vulgar.
And vulgar, yes. Yeah. I would define kinky as definitely a mindset as well. Let's start there. It starts in the mind of just like, this is something that I recognize in myself that may be outside of the social norm, but definitely something that just lights a fire inside of me. And there are labels, there is structure in order for me to experience this part of myself without feeling ashamed or feeling judged. So, yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. So the definition that we found for kinky sex, although the popular definition of kinky sex suggests that it involves bizarre or unusual acts, it is increasingly being portrayed as a scene of sexual playfulness rather than perversion. It is a little perverted though. What is considered kinky varies widely between individuals, but may include BDSM, role-playing, sex toys, exhibitionism, fetishism, and more. And real quick, I just want to touch on those. BDSM, for the most part, everyone has an idea of it, but it's about bondage, submission, masochism, sadism. Didn't do it in order, but you get the point. And so that's a very specific thing. Role playing is role playing. Sex toys are sex toys. Exhibitionism is enjoying being watched. And that's definitely my shit. I love being watched by others and putting on a show and doing the whole thing. On the flip side of that, you might be a voyeur. So you might enjoy watching others. That's a kink of yours. And so all these things fall within the world of kinky. To continue with the definition, not all kink is necessarily kinky sex. While there is always a sexual element, intercourse is not necessarily required. For example, a dominatrix will generally not have sex with her slave, but the power exchange is clearly kinky. And so, yeah, again, that's an important distinction, that it doesn't have to be sexual. There's so many things that you can do that do not at all involve penetration of any kind. And that's what really intrigues me, that I can mix that into sexual experiences, but we can do things completely unrelated to sex and it still give those same feelings and that same level of pleasure, if not higher.
Okay. Well, I think you definitely have given it away, but I will ask, of the three, vanilla, freaky, and kinky, how would you define yourself?
It would be a hybrid between freaky and kinky. Yeah, it would be a hybrid. I would say, because freaky, definitely, because that's all encompassing sex, and I put my all into it when I have sex, and so I'm very intentional and I put a lot of energy into those experiences. And yeah, I'm willing to go there and do things to push our boundaries and to feel just an overwhelming wow after sex. Like that sex we had, what would you say that sex we had, that makeup sex we just had? I would say that's freaky.
I would say that was freaky.
That was nice, nasty, freaky sex. Yes, it was great. That was freaky.
It was freaky.
Yeah, we can't tell y'all the specifics. We gotta keep some things to ourselves. But yes, that was some good freaky sex.
It was very nasty. I feel great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the dick. But no, I definitely like that definition or that description of that hybrid. I would definitely say that I also live in the land of hybrid energy between freaky and kinky, of just living in this space of really down for anything. Like I always say, I'll try anything once, maybe even twice, and see how we feel. And even if it throws me off, like I'll still try it, because you never know. Just may take one of us there or both of us there together.
Right.
But I definitely think that I have very freaky tendencies. Like my mind always just goes to sex, no matter the situation. No, that's not true. Okay, you edit that out. I would just say that my mind is very freaky, very willing, very adventurous in that way, but also kinky, because we're into some kinky shit.
Right.
And the kink side of our relationship, the impact play, the choking, all that different stuff, it really amplifies our sexual experiences. And I feel like hand in hand, it's like, regardless, we are two freaks coming together to have sex, and then you add our kinks into it, and it just takes it to this whole other level. So yeah, I would define myself as both freaky and kinky. I would say before you, I would have just said freaky. I always been a little freak, a little freaking thing, but definitely the kink aspect the interest has always been there, but I've never acted on it. I never had a space where I felt safe enough or trusted enough to just fully act on my kinky side.
And that's another reason why I love kink so much, because if you find yourself intrigued with the idea of exploring your kinks and your fetishes, there's a whole community for kink. Like literally, it's called the kink community. And I love that in my exploration, I started finding places where it was kink specific, to where I could really learn about the lingo and about the structure and about all the possibilities and about the different roles that we can play and the different toys that you can use and the mindset behind being kinky. And just all the options. It's just so many options. It just expands your palette so much for what's available to you, again, in a sexual way and even in a non-sexual way with your partners. There's so many things you can do that can bring you closer, and it has that same level of intensity as good sex. And again, there's a whole community for it. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much to learn in the space of kink, and just, again, identifying what you are interested in. But first, before even you get there, it's identifying who you're going to share that with. Like it takes so much vulnerability, so much trust, to really be in those spaces and act on it. Because if my kink is, okay, let's restart there. My kink is choking. I love being choked. I love breath play. It really amplifies the senses, especially when like I finally am able to have a deep breath. Then it allows me, then it just like the oxygen going to all the different parts of my body, it just amplifies it so much. If I'm in a situation like that with someone who I don't really trust like that, I could, one, die because they could choke me to death if they are crazy and are untrustworthy. But two, I could start to panic because it's like, I don't know if they know my limits. I don't know if like we haven't established a safe word or whatever. So like I may be reacting in a way that's like, please stop, but I can't say anything because you're literally on my vocal cords. Yeah. So if that trust and communication just isn't there, this can go very south.
Yeah, it's all about that. You have to have communication and safety on a whole nother level when it comes to kink, because of the things that you are delving into can be dangerous. Yeah. Mentally and physically.
Mentally, definitely. And like even like we just said about the safe word, it's so important to have a safe word, to just know that when I say this word in these kinky spaces, it means stop. It means there's no question, there's no discussion. It's just no means no. Right. Stop right here. And for some people, a kink could be saying no and having that limit pushed anyway. Right. So having a safe word of like our safe word is red. So it's not just no, it's red. Right. So there's no discussion of like, does she mean no? Or is this like a part of the fantasy? Is this a part of the role playing? It's just like, red. And it helps absolutely cease and desist.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But yeah, it helps so that you can get freaky with it, no pun intended, and just in terms of how creative that you get. Yeah. So if we know red is the word, we'll be having sex and you always would tell me, no, I just want to go to sleep. No, this is wrong, or whatever, role play that we're doing at the time. Yeah. But because I know, unless I hear that magic word, I'm not stopping. It allows us to, go and explore that kind of thing as well. So, yeah, I just love how everything is crystal clear when you lay everything out. And it just allows for a lot more freedom. Because when it comes to vanilla sex, a lot of times I feel like along with being vanilla tends to be less communication, less understanding of your partner's desires and wants and needs. So people a lot of times are not quite on the same page. And so you might run into issues where maybe some person's not completely comfortable doing a certain thing, but because they haven't really talked it out and hashed it out in that way, they might find themselves in a situation they don't really want to be in. Yeah. So now that we've touched on all three of these special things, let's go back to vanilla and kind of work our way back up, just in terms of diving deeper. And so first, why do you think vanilla gets such a bad rap?
As you could see in the interviews, a lot of people kind of said the same thing about it being boring, dull, just like 2-3 positions, 5 to 15 minutes. So it definitely gets more of a bad rep than I realized.
I didn't realize it was so bad because I thought we would run into quite a few vanilla people, and honestly, a decent amount of them with their answers, they were more in the world of vanilla, a little freaky, and they even judged it so harshly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it gets a bad rep because I think even people who are vanilla want to see themselves as freaky. Yeah. So that we have this like hierarchy of like vanilla, freaky, and kinky, and kinky and freaky are like interchangeable to most people, meaning like freaky may be at the top of the food chain or kinky may. So I think that people don't want to be perceived as dull or boring. So just in their minds, they're like, I'm a freak, or no, I'm kinky, I'm down for whatever. But when it comes time to be down for whatever,
you come down to it.
They go back to their vanilla roles. But no, I think it gets a bad rep because I think people just don't want to identify with being with the norm, with being common, with being basic, regular, conventional. So they judge others so harshly.
I definitely get that. And I would say if that's the case, if you enjoy being vanilla and you honestly enjoy it, or you're good with it right now, just know You don't have to just stay there. You can flow within all of these.
Yeah.
There's no walls limiting you from exploring everything else. But then when you want to have a more calm experience or just a space in your life where you just prefer more calm, regular sex, do that. Yeah, it's the beautiful thing about all this. There is no rules. There's no ways you have to go about anything. We say it all the time, and this is no different.
Yeah. And it's so true. You can definitely just like weave your way through. Like, you know what, this day, this week, this time, I want to have vanilla sex. I want to have just very, like, I know it's going to be yummy. I know it's going to be sweet. And I know it's, you know, going to get me off. And I don't have to open up all these taboo doors. And then there can be those taboo doors, and when you're really ready to open them, they're not locked. You just got to turn the knob. So it's so important to just know that, and just because you're kinky doesn't mean that you don't have vanilla sex. It doesn't mean that you don't just, you know, want to go back to that, or you know, there's no destination here.
Yeah. As you were speaking, I was just trying to think back to the last time I remember myself as being a vanilla being, I guess you could say.
A vanilla bean.
A vanilla bean. I can't really remember. I feel like even when I was vanilla, it was just from a lack of experience sexually. Like, even though it was early on, like I just didn't know what other options were there. But if they were presented, I probably would have been rocking with them quite a bit earlier. I just didn't know what was available. But what I will say though, as a black man, definitely in my late teens, early 20s, certain things that you would deem as freaky, that we weren't even venturing to kinky, but things even that were deemed as freaky were like, but we can't do that. Like, that's some other shit. Like, that's some other shit. I already did remember feeling the judgment pretty early on. Even like with dating outside your race, that could even be looked at as freaky, depending on who you're asking. So I just remember that. But I know if I would have, if there was a podcast like this back then, your boy would have been getting busy early. Yeah. So I hope this can be a useful resource for you as we go in, because we're about to go in on specifics. If you are somebody that is considered more vanilla and you're happy with it, but maybe you want to do some more exploration, stay tuned in. We're going to continue with this conversation.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I don't think I ever had a vanilla phase. Like, even in my like early exploration, like I got really into porn very, very quickly. Like, when I got into it, it was just like overboard with it. And back in those days, young millennials or older millennials will know about Tumblr days, nasty ass Tumblr days.
I miss Tumblr. I didn't catch Tumblr until I was already in my late 20s.
I was in Tumblr like I was still like high school, getting out of high school, and that was like really my first introduction into freaky and kinky shit. And so just like very early on in my just sexual experiences and just sexual interests, I should say, I just like knew I liked some shit. You know, I liked some nasty shit that was like not your everyday porn. And I knew that I was like not the norm when I brought something up to a friend, or like I sent them something, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" It was like a high judgment, like, "What are you talking about here?" And I was just like, I don't know. And just like completely try to change the subject. But I remember like that feeling, that like shame of like, oh my goodness. Or even like just like having regular conversations with my friends about sex, and something will come up that I'm interested in, but it wouldn't be like me saying like, oh, this is my interest. It just so happens to come up. And the way they would just like talk down to it, I was just like, okay, I would never admit this to another human being ever. So yeah, just like very early on, I knew that I was not in a vanilla category. I knew that I was in a very freaky category, a very explorative category. But I didn't land into kinky until my mid 20s, where I'm at now.
I think I remember the exact, not moment per se, but after I started watching porn for a little bit, I was probably maybe a year or two into it, and then I met this porn star, Belladonna, and she changed my whole outlook on all of it. She was the first one doing different shit. Before then, it was like, you know, regular positions, all the good positions, you know. Sometimes it'd be some gangbangs happening in there. It was good foundation. But when I met Belladonna, she was getting all kind of DP'd, analed. She put a Louisville Slugger bat in her ass. She had somebody put a Louisville Slugger bat in her ass.
What is that?
A bat, a baseball bat.
Oh.
A whole ass baseball bat. Shoved it in her ass. She was getting face fucked all crazy, and just how committed she was.
Like a baseball bat in her asshole?
Yes, like a baseball bat.
In her asshole?
In her asshole.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like, wow.
That's insane.
And it wasn't that I was necessarily interested in putting a bat up somebody's ass, but just the fact that you could do that and it was possible, I just like that shit. So it was freaky entertainment for me. And then the face fucking and the choking, and she was just so committed to it. It was like, oh, you genuinely like this. You're not even just acting. This makes you crazy right now. And I just loved seeing the nastiness oozing from her. And it really inspired me. Yeah, it really inspired me to just open up my mind and just be open to fucking with all of this. Yeah, it was Belladonna. I will forever be grateful for her. You should check out some of her porn. She's an OG now. She don't got any new stuff, but type her in Pornhub. Have a good time.
So, what are some vanilla things you like to do?
Eye contact.
You think that's vanilla?
It starts in the world of well, maybe not actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I think
most people
just,
are probably a little bit nervous about eye contact.
I think even just in day-to-day life, people are very uncomfortable with eye contact.
This is true.
And like deep eye contact while you're deep inside somebody or somebody's deep inside of you, I don't know.
It is very intense.
It's very rare that I've had that.
All right, we'll scratch that.
Yeah.
Cuddles.
Okay.
I like cuddles. Massages. Massages used to be one of my go-to moves for sure to get things going. Yeah, good massage for sure. Really good missionary. You know my move. So missionary, and then I put my hand underneath your hips and just tilt your torso up towards me, and it just gives this angle where I'm able to kind of graze on that G-spot in the right way too. It's a very basic, regular ass position. It's not even pleasing to look at. Like if you were somebody just watching this, we all just close, our bodies are just closed. You wouldn't really know what the fuck we're doing. But in there though, yeah. So those subtle switches are grabbing your ass in missionary, back shots, reverse cowgirl, those positions, cool. You don't have hair, but if you had hair, I'd love to pull it. That's vanilla. Still a little hair pull. That's vanilla. That's vanilla.
I think it's.
That's vanilla. Come on, hair pulling.
If
That's
y'all
nothing.
aren't doing that, I mean, definitely not happening in this relationship.
I rub your head now. They do like rubbing your head. I do be rubbing your head sometimes.
You do.
I do be rubbing your head. But if y'all got hair in the mix and y'all ain't pulling no hair, come on, pull some fucking hair. Come on. So those kind of things. Yeah, telling you I love you. Yeah, I like that.
I love you too.
I love you. How about for you?
Definitely missionary. It is by far my favorite position. I think because it's like a lot of just receiving and taking on my part that I just love. Just like I'm able to just like submit fully into the bed cushions and allow you to force into me, and it's just, I love missionary. It's my favorite position. Also, like lazily, like I don't gotta do shit. But it's a great position. That thing you're talking about with the hips, it just really allows you to go very deep inside of me, but without it just like feeling like you're just, you know, like rabbit fucking me. It just like kind of allows like this great. I don't know, it's like my vagina was molded for your penis specifically. Right. So it just really allows for that penis to be hugged, and it feels great. I get cuddles, and I don't know if that's vanilla. I feel like that's basic sexual.
Yeah.
What is that word? Etiquette. Cuddle after sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kissing. I like kissing.
Kissing.
Yeah.
Kissing.
And it doesn't have to be like crazy, like making out kissing. Just like the pecks, even.
Mm-hmm.
The licking of the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ear. I like my ear licked.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like the like grabbing each other and just pulling each other close, rolling around a little bit. Not all the way intense like primal play per se, but just pull your partner close and just.
I love like wrapping my legs around your waist and hugging you.
Yeah, and just ravish each other, just
Ravish.
engulf each other in the love making. Yeah. What about for freaky? What are some freaky things you like?
I love it when you spit in my mouth.
That's freaky? I guess that is freaky.
That's freaky.
That's freaky. That's freaky.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
You did that today, and that was.
Oh my God.
It was so sloppy. And, wow.
Yeah. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, definitely that. Let me think, what else? I don't know, the lines between freaky and kinky are so blurred depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like things that I would define as freaky, some people would think kinky. So I guess we're talking about me though. So I would say a butt button. Like when
butt button.
Yeah, it's like when you press the anus like a button.
Oh,
like,
you like that?
Yeah. I like receiving and giving that.
Okay.
I think that's more freaky. Like it's not all the way in. It's just like a button, like pressing.
I like the button.
I like the button.
The button.
What else freaky thing? You help me out. What freaky thing do you like?
Freaky things that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because it does blur between the two. So this will be kind of in between stuff as well. Definitely choking. I love choking. That's my shit.
You see, I would have put that in kinky.
Nah, I feel like a basic choke.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just freaky.
Yeah, a lot of people do like choking.
Yeah. I feel like even some vanilla people like a little choke. Come on. So, but yeah, choking.
Choking is no matter what type of sex we're having, if you add a choke in there for me, it just amplifies everything. One of my favorite things actually, because I don't have to receive like anything like vaginally in order to just get off on choking. Like I could be giving you a hand job, and I give really great hand jobs. I have a whole technique. Hit me up if you let me stop. No, but I do give really good hand jobs. I'm really proud of that. And one of my favorite things is when I'm giving you a hand job and you choke me, and it just it I don't know, it makes my whole body feel like I'm receiving the hand job, or like I'm receiving, direct stimulation. So choking is, if that goes in the category of freaky, it's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, you could place a choke in many different scenarios. You don't have to be having intercourse at all. Sometimes I'll just randomly choke you.
And it's hot.
Just cause. And there's different types of chokes. You got the one hand choke. You got the one hand in the front with the backhand choke.
That's my favorite.
I do like that.
Yeah.
And then you start to wring the neck. Once you start wringing the neck, now we're venturing to kinky though.
Yeah.
You start wringing that neck, it gets real intense then. That, we got the forearm choke, the come from behind you choke. There's a lot of choking options.
I want you to choke me now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of choking options.
Yeah, so I guess if that's freaky, then definitely in there.
And if you want to take it all the way to kinky, we throw a leash on, a collar and a leash on, wrap that thing around, pull on it. Yeah. Choking is so versatile. Choking, yes. What else do we got?
I guess we can go into kinky.
Just other things. Let's stay even freaky. Okay. I would say I like having sex in interesting places.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously when we go to a party, I like having sex in front of people.
And that's freaky to you? That's a kink. That's an actual defined kink.
I'm not talking about the part when people are actually watching us, but just being around, like in a public place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we could be off doing our own thing, but just like we're outside, not in the bedroom, and there's people around. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I definitely want to turn up our locations this year. I feel like we haven't had sex in a lot of interesting locations. COVID, we haven't gone out as much, but yeah, I want us to have sex in places we have no business having sex in. Let's do that this summer.
Okay.
Let's do that this summer.
I'm down.
What else? What are freaky things? Maybe more interesting positions.
Yeah.
I like positions where it's like you ever see lesbian scissor?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like we've done positions where it's similar to scissoring. Like my leg will be in between your leg, and you can like get my ass, and I can get your ass.
Yeah.
And then we can just play in that way.
It is amazing.
That's freaky to me.
Yeah.
That's a freaky position right there. It's freaky.
Definitely not your conventional missionary.
No.
That's definitely one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
So it allows a lot of control on both ends. So we're able to just maneuver our own bodies and also manipulate the others.
Yeah. Especially with an extra set of hands. That really turns up the freaky. That really turns up the freaky. Get those extra angles.
Yeah, I guess like grabbing your balls or your gooch.
The gooch.
That's more freaky. That's less vanilla.
Yeah, gooch. Yeah. Get your gooch stimulated.
Yeah.
If you want to really just add that extra level of, and it's not even crazy intense. It's just
Yeah, and the gooch is
really
just
good.
for the people who don't know. A gooch is the space between your balls and your anus. So
Yeah.
it's just like that little happy place between.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's actually so many different nerve endings there, and it's like where because the G spot for men is in your asshole, if you didn't know. So the gooch is like kind of like where those nerve endings begin. So it's a great stimulatory part, and I like feeling it. There's like this on yours. There's like this slight indent, and like when it's like my fingers modeled just for that indent. And when I press into it, it drives you crazy, and I can feel it happening.
Yeah.
I feel like your balls tighten and
My
just
dick
like
gets
ready to.
so hard. It's like
insane.
it'd be good, and then he's just like, just yeah. Or if I want to bounce back quicker, you start playing in that area. Oh yeah, quick bounce back, for sure. Love it, and that's something I never ventured in that area until my very recent history. And it's something, let's take a second to touch on that, because I know a lot of fellas are like, fuck no, don't go anywhere near my ass, nothing that's gay, yada, yada, yada. I can't even say I understand it, because you're a woman.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
You have no penis.
I don't.
I have the penis.
If I did, it would be big though.
Probably would be big.
Yeah.
Probably be skinny though.
I don't think it would be skinny.
Yeah,
I think I'd have a girthy penis.
You'd have a skinny penis.
I would not. Don't.
Skinny love.
What the fuck? First of all, my dick would be bigger than yours. It would be quite large and girthy, and it would have like a mushroom type head. I've thought about this. Definitely not a skinny dick.
I could see a mushroom head, but a skinny dick.
I
big
feel
head.
heavily disrespected, and this is grounds for a breakup.
But luckily, you don't have it. So.
But if I did, it would be girthy. To be clear.
Okay.
Continue.
Girthy.
Yeah, say it. My dick would be girthy.
Please. Your dick would be girthy.
Thank you.
But anyway, currently you don't have one. So there's nothing in you stimulating my G-spot as a man, which we naturally have. God has given us this special place, fellas.
In your asshole.
In your asshole. For you to reach all kind of new levels of ecstasy.
And it's not far. Like, I think people think you have to like go all the way up there. It's about like a knuckle in, like
that first line on your finger. That's really it. That's my safe zone. That's my comfortable zone.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's literally right there.
Yeah, and that changes everything. That opens up so many doors. So that's definitely freaky.
I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think there's more nerve endings in your asshole than it is in your penis.
Yeah, I'm not going to quote you on that, but if it's not, it's damn close.
I want to look it up.
It's damn close.
I want to look it up.
Okay, well, while she's doing that, I will continue to think about other freaky things. What other freaky things? I think having sex a lot is freaky. How many rounds? What's the most amount of rounds we probably did? I want to say like 4 to 6 rounds in a day.
I would say about that.
Yeah, like you done came 2 or 3 times already. There's no need to keep going for another one, but you're just such a freak, you just can't get enough sex. You just gotta go another round and then another round and then another round.
Okay. So it's not giving me an exact, but this description kind of proves my point, though it is not really a fact. The penis contains many nerve endings, but it says the prostate contains a very abundant amount of nerve endings.
Abundant. That's a strong word. Abundant.
Yes.
I think.
But if it's not equal or more, whatever it is, regardless, the male prostate has so many nerve endings, and it just allows so much space for pleasure and just excitement. Like I said, it's y'all's G spot. They call it the P spot because it's prostate. But there's just so much space for pleasure that men are not activating on because they want to put this in the category as homosexual, which it is not.
They feel like they're gonna lose their manliness. It changes everything.
And really, it amplifies your manliness. It gives you so much more pleasure and so much more. And I'm just speaking from my end. I don't even have a prostate. Yeah. But it's like I know, one, from just experience with doing it with other men, and with just learning about it in my sexology courses.
Yeah, I love it. I highly recommend it. And it's good for your prostate health.
It is.
It's actually good for your health. If for no other reason, let somebody stick a finger. Just get a little in there, and you can prevent cancer. Come on, fellas.
My God.
Come on. What's better than that? It's funny. I had a conversation with my boy, and we were talking about it. And I told him that it was something that I was into, and that was something that I started exploring over the last couple of years. And he just immediately was like, "Yeah, I think it's gay." And he was like, "Yeah, first is a finger, then after a finger is a fist, then it's a dildo. The next thing you know, you got a dick in your ass." And I'm like, "That's just not how it works, unless that's what you want." But it was like as soon as that first little bit goes in, it's over for you. You're gonna be getting your back blown out by fucking Debo or some shit.
Like all of a sudden the rainbow will start shining and you are gay now.
Yeah, I'm turned gay. So
no, you can't turn gay. You either are or you aren't. And if you aren't and you would like to explore it, it's not gonna shift your sexuality.
I challenge all the men for one time in their life. It might take you a little while to get comfortable with the idea, but I challenge you to at least try it one time and see what you feel. Because I know, but you don't know yet. But you'll know. Just try. And if you really don't like it, fuck it, don't do it no more. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna like that shit. Pretty sure you're gonna like that shit.
You can start with the button. Just like
start with the button? Yes, button.
It sounds like button. Go in the butt. No. Yeah. Start with the button. Just like putting pressure on your anus. Not going all the way in, just adding a little bit of pressure and feel that stimulation, feel that, maybe even massage it, just like adding a little bit of pressure, lightening up, adding more. It really just, I think it'll shift your perspective, but who are we to say?
Yeah, and this goes for the ladies too. I know a lot of women have their reservations about anything regarding anal. Y'all gonna love it too. Y'all don't got the prostate. We got the prostate.
Yeah.
But y'all can definitely still love it too. And it's just about taking your time. A lot of lube.
Yeah. Especially if you want to venture into anal. So something like really being inserted inside there. Lube helps. And like also, I think silicone lubes are really good. Because they're more slippery and more tacky. So it just like allows more slippage. Knowing which type of lube you're using, it really does help. Also, butt plugs. What a butt plug does, it allows you to stretch out your anus so that you can fit a penis in there without hurting yourself, without overstretching or tearing your asshole.
Not just penises.
Yeah, fingers as well.
Yeah. Toys, whatever it is.
Toys, fingers, vibrators. For men, you have your prostate toys where you can insert in there as well. But it really does help to stimulate. Like we had this one person when we were interviewing, they said that they're, no matter what they did or how much lube they used, that their asshole was just too small. But butt plugs really helps to expand that. And it's not going to expand and stay expanded forever. No, it goes back to its regular size. It just allows more space so you can insert. Exactly. It's a healthier way to do it as well. That way you're not just forcing and stretching, because then that's when you have into micro tears, and then that is not good.
And now that we've segued all the way up in your ass, let's get back to what other things. I think we're good on freaky. So let's go to kinky, because that's our favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first when it comes to kinky, I would say the foundational thing that defines us is our dynamic as it pertains to BDSM.
Yeah.
So again, BDSM stands for bondage, domination, submission, sadomasochism, and sadism. And bondage could be anything from using ropes, straps, ties, whatever it is that you like, handcuffs, things where you can feel restrained and restricted. In terms of domination, I'm a dom. If we haven't spoken about that already, I really hate that word. I'll talk about that at a different time. But just for the sake of y'all understanding, for these examples, I'm a dominant person. You're a more submissive person, and neither one is better than the other. In fact, everyone has either a more dominant or submissive personality or energy. Some people can flow between the two, but typically most people naturally gravitate towards one or the other unless you are what's called a switch. And so
I'm a switch.
You are a switch, but I haven't experienced any of your switchy ways because I'm not a switch. So that really wouldn't work for us. I just like to dominate you all the time. Yeah. The S stands for sadism, which means you like to inflict pain on others. And I know that sounds pretty intense, and it can very well be pretty fucking intense, but you enjoy inflicting pain, consensual pain that someone has given you the right to give on another person. And the only reason why you would do something like that is because that person is a masochist and they enjoy the sensation of pain. It brings them pleasure in their own special, unique way. And so BDSM is one of our foundational things, is what really helped bring us to new heights in our sex life during quarantine. And just our foundation between our dom sub dynamic and the things that we like to do revolve in that. I know like real early I got you a collar. And that's a big representation of that submission for me, at least. Some people may not feel the same way, but we started with that. Some impact toys, a lot of verbal communication, and a lot of kind of setting up how we like to be spoken to. Because I like to be called daddy and sir, and you like to be called baby girl and my princess. And so this structure that we mentioned before surrounding kink, I like it. It helps give more purpose and direction and clarity and ways to navigate the whole thing, more so than kind of just freestyling it. So BDSM was big for us. What do you feel about our BDSM experiences so far?
I think it's been wonderful. I think we definitely just threw ourselves in it very early on. That's a story for another episode. But we just kind of like went on the deep end and then just kind of just figured out how to swim in this space. And it's been amazing. I think that the structure has really helped us build and identify our own desires and our own needs that we didn't even know we needed, and it's really helped us communicate. It's like the basis of our communication. Like anytime we have any type of friction or argument, it goes back to the dynamic and the rules within the dynamic that need to be followed. Anytime, or just like how we move in our day-to-day life, it goes back to our dynamic and the structure that we build. So it's kind of like our rule book,
right?
Of these are the rules that we have both consented on. These are both rules that we both agreed on, and this is our playbook,
right?
So everything that happens in our life, from cleaning up to the way that we fuck, it goes back into this rule book.
Right, because even as we're out in the world amongst the vanillas, it's like, I'm just playing, y'all good. But just out in the world, we're still able to transfer some of those components to just everyday life. For sure. It's funny because sometimes we'll be with my parents and we'll be out. We were out on my birthday. We were out to brunch, and I remember you said something.
I should have passed me something.
Daddy, pass me the ketchup. It was like, it was so loud. She like yelled it out damn near, and I'm sitting there eating my food, and I just look up. And look at my parents. They didn't respond, so I don't know if they heard that. You can tell me later. Did you hear it?
Yeah, his parents are also very lovely. I love you, mom and dad. Very subtle people. So very reserved, very subtle people. So I think that even if they did hear, personally, I think y'all heard it. Please let me know. I think they heard it and just was just like, let me mind my fucking business.
There was no reaction. There
was nothing.
There was no reaction.
And it's very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens pretty often.
It does, because I'm so used to calling you it that, and like I would try, like when we're around other people, I tried to code switch, and most of the time, I just forget.
Yeah.
Like I remember I told my sister, Sam, I told her that I call you daddy, and she was just like, oh, okay, and I was like sweating. I was like, oh God, I have to tell her this is gonna be so awkward.
But that's a more normal one. Like people play with that all the time. Daddy.
Like daddy.
Yeah. For me, it runs a little deeper because I'm a daddy dom, so I'm a more nurturing person. That really gets me going. Being a more nurturing person, and I'm an actual dad in real life, so like. Some of those same things apply, and I just enjoy that role. I enjoy being your protector, and I enjoy guiding you and leading you and us in our lives, and I enjoy you asking for permission to do certain things and asking for my perspective and things like that. Everything surrounding that really feels good to me, and a lot of that is non-sexual.
Yeah, a lot of it is. I think that a lot of people like when they hear about that type of dynamic, they go straight into daddy issues. And I mean, I got my fair share, but it doesn't always go back to that. You know, it's not always about like, oh well, you know, my dad wasn't around or he died or whatever it is. It's not that. It can just be the type of dynamic that just makes you feel fulfilled. I love having you as my protector and as my guide and my leader. It just makes me feel more secure. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel good. Like I was telling you how when I went to Niagara Falls, I was traveling without you, and just like it throws me off, like being I don't know if I want to share that.
What?
It just throws me off, like being outside of your realm of protection, like leaving the state without you. Because it's like I'm not with my protector.
Yeah, we formed that kind of bond where that's kind of the byproduct of it.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like to be needed. It feels good to be needed by you. Yeah,
it does. And even like in the space of like when I was traveling, I ended up having a full on just like mini panic attack of like, oh my God, like I'm gonna be out on my own, and like, whew, like he's like, if something happens, like he won't be able to be here within like a 20 to 30 minute span of time. And it just like really threw me off. And then like once the dust settled and like I got past that, just like remembering like I am also a very independent person and I'm able to take care of myself. And you know, I don't necessarily, I need you, yes, but I don't need you. I want you. Yeah. And that's what the difference is. It's of just, I want this need.
Yeah.
But I would be fine without it. And it creates a really good balance, a really good trust, and just a lot of freedom for me where I don't have to think about certain things because you're around.
And the biggest thing about my dominance over you, I think a lot of times, you know, we have a certain idea of what it means to be a dom, and like we see shit like 50 Shades of Grey, and you know, just our perspective is a lot of times this mean person yelling and screaming and beating you and slapping you and making you feel like shit and worthless. There are doms like that. Sometimes that's done in a safe, consensual way, and sometimes they're completely abusing and taking advantage of their submissive. That's not my style. I be chilling. I don't like a whole bunch of strict rules and high protocols, though I do like structure and I do like respect, and damn, we in Brooklyn and fucking cat just died in the backyard. You know, so I do love structure and all of that, but I'll be chilling. So I just wanted to make that distinction because with us, my main purpose is to help you grow and be a better person. And so I want my leadership to equip you and empower you to be a better version of yourself in your submission. So I just wanted to point that out, that's the overall goal. I don't want to disable you from being your own being. You know what I mean? Hey everybody, we apologize, but we will be experiencing some audio difficulties for the remainder of the show. You will still be able to hear everything nice and loud, but with obvious lower quality. Thank you for bearing with us. We'll do better next time, I promise. Now back to the show.
With submission as well, there's a lot of freedom that is given for me in submitting to you. There's a lot that I don't have to worry about, or that I don't even have to think about, because I know that you'll take care of it. And that goes beyond just like you being my partner, and just like knowing that you're also my protector. You're also always going to make sure that I'm okay. And it's like you have that with a partner, but within this dynamic, it goes to a deeper level, because we do have a 24/7 dynamic. So
What does that mean?
With the 24/7 dom sub dynamic, it means that it doesn't stop. Like for some, a dom sub dynamic just is limited to the bedroom, and for us, it goes throughout our whole relationship, through our day-to-day lives. With again, go back to our playbook of just how we're going to be in this relationship and how we're going to maneuver in this relationship. So we have that 24/7 relationship. So for me, it allows me space to just, like, I don't have to think about certain things because you're leading. So it just gives me that freedom to not think, just to serve someone. And to put, like, you always say that my needs come before your needs, but your wants become before my wants.
Right.
And so to put somebody else's like wants before mine, and to do things a certain way, even if I think my way is a little better, but to put it the way you want it, because this is what you want and that's what we agreed to do. It's a very, what's the word? Selfless type of love, behavior, and it really like forces me to just have to really think about you. So like in all the ways where I don't have to think, because you are leading in that space, so I can let go of that freedom. I get filled with having to think about how to put you first, and it allows balance, I think, in that way, of because I'm catering to what your wants are and you're catering to what my needs are. We are both getting what we want and need.
Right. Because I think sometimes people think shit is just sweet for the dominant one because you gotta listen to what I say. But the only reason why you listen to what I say is because you trust in my ability to provide for you in different areas. So that's kind of the trade-off in me helping to facilitate different things in your life and to help make sure you feel safe and secure and all of your needs are met. In return, you give me the things that I want. And I feel like that's empowering on both sides. I feel like it's extremely empowering. I would never want you to feel little or small or to have to bow down, because sometimes, you know, there are subs out there who their dom likes when they put their head down and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you get off on that and you both agree, great, do it. But just for me, I like you looking up to the sky. I like you with your shoulders back. I want you to feel strong and powerful. Yeah, that's the way I do when we do our thing. So that's a little bit about our dynamic. But quickly, what's a couple other things that we enjoy when it comes to kink? I know for me, I love impact play, everything about it, from spanking to using paddles to using floggers to using crops. I love it all. I love everything about the inflicting of pleasurable pain onto you and others. And I love the reactions. I love pushing the boundaries of intensity. I love mixing the impact with sex. Like sometimes I love being balls deep in you from the back and I'm smacking the shit out of your ass. And while that's going on, I love it. I love it. And it's a mind fuck too, because you're able to receive pleasure and then all of a sudden this painful sensation comes along. So I just love the versatility that it adds by being able to incorporate that into the mix. I can't wait for us to get a spanking bench. When we get some room, I can't wait for that. We actually started doing live demos because we'll go to parties. We've been invited to parties where we'll do demos. So there'll be some kind of spanking bench there, and I'll have all my paddles and floggers lined up. And I love putting on the show. Like I said, I'm an exhibitionist, and that's another kink, actually. And I love to be watched, whether it's for intercourse or if I'm doing a little demo where I'm doing a little spanking session with somebody else. I love putting on the show. That makes me go crazy. The more people, the better. I was actually surprised I was so into it, and I was surprised you got into it with me very quickly, and it was very natural for you as well. But you're more of a voyeur.
Yeah, I like watching, and I think it turns me on a lot. It's like live porn. Like when we go to play parties, or like even when we have threesomes, I just enjoy just witnessing what you're doing. It gets me off. I also enjoy being watched. I think a perfect scenario is watching someone and then they're watching me watch them. A lot of watching. But yeah.
Something I want us to try, I want to have same room sex with a couple, like not at a party, a more intimate thing, but we're just watching each other do our thing. Not that we necessarily switch off, but like just to like bring somebody into our space to witness us do our thing, and then vice versa. I definitely look forward to experiencing that. But funny enough, I don't really like watching. I love watching porn, but live, it does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. I'm bored out of my mind. It got to be something really fire. Like the woman. The woman got to be sexy as hell. She got to be doing all kind of crazy shit. Her moans got to be nuts. The dude got to be fucking her the way I would be fucking somebody. Like it has to be that, or I could care less. But yeah, so those are some of the things there that we like. What else we like? Role playing. Yeah. We can't talk about our role playing stuff. It's a little much for the pod. But we encourage you to explore some roles, some scenes. Maybe you want to go out into the world and go to a bar or something and act like, you and your partner are strangers and you're meeting for the first time. Maybe you want to do the whole schoolgirl professor thing. There's a plethora of options. You just got to get creative. Figure out what works for you and your lifestyle, what works, what would turn you on, and challenge yourself. Push yourself to talk more and be more vocal during sex. I know I used to be dead silent. It used to
when you could be saying something, just breathing hard, moaning. It's such a turn on. And it's so true. A lot of men are quiet.
Don't put it on the men. Hold on. A lot of people are quiet. A lot of people are quiet. But as the leader in sexual experiences that men tend to be, yes, we could definitely afford to step up our vocal game. We could step up our vocal game.
I would say people, but most femmes are moaning and groaning. Like, most things we're like talking.
That's your experience. I've experienced so much quiet ass sex. Hell yeah. No kind of feedback. Hello. Or like, I know it's good, but they're just quiet. Like only their body is responding, but they be quiet. Yeah, there be a lot of women are quiet. You're mad loud. Mad loud. I love it though. Mad loud. I feel like it's an ego boost for me. For sure, I love it. But you be loud as hell. You got sexy moans though. You know what we should do sometime? We should record the audio of us having sex.
There's a whole podcast that does that.
Yeah, let's.
Their name, but they literally their whole podcast is just them fucking. You just hear the audio.
You think Instagram would ban us if we put some clips up?
Let's follow their pod and see what happens.
Let's try it. We're going to look into, and we'll get back to you. You might see it pop up on our Instagram. I would love to have some clips with like just a nice sexy image of us, and you can hear us actually do our thing when we get into the role play and the moans. And yeah, that would be hot. That'd be hot.
Like a Patreon too.
We'll do a little something on Instagram. Let's see if they fuck with us on the algorithm. And if we find there's an issue, we'll switch it up. Or if y'all really love that, we might turn this into a thing. Start a Patreon or something. Yeah, let's do that.
It's funny, I was thinking about that when we were having sex earlier.
We think we're on to something.
I think so too. So it was really, I like verbal. I love when you're talking dirty to me. I love talking dirty to you. Your moans, your fucks. Like, oh, fuck. Oh my God, it drives me insane. Just men moaning. I think it's a different type of just the bass in it. It's so primal.
Yeah. Yeah, I encourage people to be more vocal and get out of your comfort zone. Because I used to not be a talker at all. I was just all about the action, just get it done. I was all focused on my performance, and I left out the audio component to it. Where audio stimulates us just as much as visuals. Yeah, and so once I was able to get comfortable in that, realize I don't sound stupid, or even if there was times I may have sounded stupid, just continue to kind of develop my thing, and it's completely changed our sex lives. Have you noticed me kind of ramp that up more over the last several months? Yeah.
I think you spoke more today than ever before.
I talked a lot today. And then the other day, if you listen to our last podcast episode, we told y'all that we met up with one of our partners that we love having threesomes with. And we so happened to have also met up with another one of our partners at the same time, and it was an amazing, magical night. We actually hung out because, like I said, we hang out with our partners a lot of times. So we just had a good night, went out, listened to some jazz out at Prospect Park, and we brought it back to the crib, and we had some really sexy time. And in the midst of it, I was vocal. I was commanding the shit out of these pussies. I'm gonna pat myself on the back this time. I was very proud of myself in my performance there. Yeah, let's start recording some shit. Yeah, let's start recording some shit. Yeah, we'll be back with that soon. So I think we've touched on quite a bit. I think there's a lot of options available here. We've unpacked what vanilla, freaky, and kinky mean to us and to the masses, and we definitely want to know what y'all think about it, what resonated with you, what made sense and what not. So again, hit us up, DM us, let us know your thoughts on this. This is a really great episode to see what's available for you. If you're interested in picking up some new things, whether it's things that we spoke about today, or if you have things that's been on your mind that that we didn't touch on, we encourage you to explore it, figure out what works for you and your partners, and have some fun. And again, there's nothing wrong with being vanilla. Let's gotta throw that out there. There's nothing wrong with being vanilla, you vanilla people, you. And as always, if you've gotten any value from today's episode, we encourage you to please like, share, subscribe, all those good things. We need y'all to help grow and build this community. And we thank y'all in advance for your support. Until next week, stay tuned for the sexy.